Hello, my name is Mrs. Smith, and this is the intro information for CP Honors and AP Lit for the English for senior level. Okay, so first of all, just covering some basic class policies. You must be on time every day, whether we are in person or virtual. If we do go virtual for any reason, like a snow day, or if we are going to virtual school for whatever reason, then you are responsible for being on time. You are also responsible for any work that you miss due to lates or absences. Check Google Classroom every day for updates and announcements. Please contact me via Google Classroom or at my Stateliners email if you have any questions or concerns. Be aware that outside of school hours, I may not be able to respond as I am busy with my own personal life and family, but I will respond to concerns as soon as I am able to. So don't hesitate to email. Okay. No food or drink is allowed in my classroom, especially in the mornings. I know people are running late with breakfast and stuff like that, but I cannot have food in my classroom. You may have water. You may, if it is the early morning, have coffee or something along those lines, as long as you throw away your trash, but no full out continental breakfasts are allowed during the school day. Generally speaking, I do not accept late work. I will accept late work if you are absent due to a medical illness that is documented and called into the school. But most of the time, if you just show up and you don't have your work completed and I have no reason to give you an extension, I will not grant one. I also do not give partial credit for partial work. So make sure that you meet deadlines and make sure that you have completed all assignments as directed. Okay, class policies. You are to stay in your assigned seat no matter what. You do not have permission to move around the room, to be near an outlet, to sit next to a friend, or for any other reason. If your computer runs out of juice and you require electricity, generally speaking, you will not be able to move or use the outlets during class. There are too many students to make these accommodations. If your computer is technically becoming unsound, if there's some kind of problem with your charging, then you will be directed to the tech department for assistance, and they can contact me if you need some sort of temporary accommodation. But outside of that, you will just be sitting in your seat, and you should make sure that you are charged and ready to go before class begins. You will need your computer for every single assignment. You will need to make sure that you have come to class prepared, with all of the materials that you need. And since all work is completed on Google Classroom, you'll need to have your computer in working order when class begins. Please be respectful of the class environment. Do not talk out of turn. Keep your language appropriate. Don't throw objects. Make sure that you are respectful of your teachers and your classmates. Follow directions. You guys are seniors, so you're just going to have to follow the main rules that have been in your lives since elementary school. So please just behave accordingly. If you are habitually late or absent, and this mostly goes for students who come in for the morning classes, or if you're coming in during a lunch, you will be referred to administration for disciplinary action if you are late or absent, continuously. So there are certain times given by the school that you're no longer allowed in the classroom whatsoever. So make sure that you're following all school policies for for lates or absences, make sure that you are on time. If you need extra time to get up the hill because you are driving to school, or if you're coming in halfway through the day and you know you need to get here for lunch period or whatever, make sure that you allow time for that. Please keep your bathroom trips to a minimum, okay? Go before class or go after. Return to class promptly if you need to use the restroom. If you abuse this policy or you start to kind of leave every single day and then live in the bathroom for half of the period, that will result in a referral to administration. Okay, cell phones and computers. You are to place your cell phone in the assigned spot that corresponds to the number on your desk at the beginning of every class period. So you have a small number on your desk that corresponds to the pocket in the back of the room. You are going to place your cell phone that goes to your desk in that designated pocket. You are not allowed to retrieve the cell phone for any reason during class unless you've been given permission to do so. You are also to put your earphones away. No earphones or earbuds of any kind are allowed during class unless I have given you permission to use them. You may only use a school-issued computer during our class. You should not bring another computer of your own personal belongings. You will not be able to use your phone for school assignments. You must again attend class with a charged school-issue computer. If you don't, then you will have to take notes by hand for the duration of the period. Any graded assignments that you are unable to complete as a result of attending class without required technology will be given a 0%. That includes tests and quizzes. If you attend school without a working computer on a test or a quiz day, you will be given a 0%. Anyone caught cheating or using sites unrelated to classwork will be given a 0% for the assignment and sent to administration for disciplinary action. Google Classroom. You will use the inbox to submit all work due for this class. I load assignments like study guide work into Genesis for your grades at the end of the week or at the beginning of the following week. I do not accept any work submitted to the Google Classroom inbox beyond 3 o'clock on Friday. Once work has been moved to the out box in Google Classroom after the deadline, all grades are final and will be deleted from Google Classroom. You should be able to access your own personal work in your personal drive if you have saved a copy for yourself. So in other words, submit your work to the inbox in Google Classroom. Do not rely on your Google Classroom to save completed work. So make sure you make a copy of your study guides for your own personal drive, as anything in the inbox, once it's been loaded into Genesis, will be deleted. You will find both texts, as in our novels, our short stories, our plays, and our poems that we'll be reading for this class in Google Classroom. There is a place for the audio accompaniment, an audio book of all text that we read in this class, as well as texts without audio. If you would like a hard copy of the textbook, one can be provided for you. Otherwise, everything that you need for this class in terms of the readings will be on Google Classroom. Okay, will also be backup recorded versions of lectures, slideshows, and other supplemental materials that you can access on Google Classroom. If you're absent and you miss a lecture, there will be a recorded version of it for you on Google Classroom to watch at home. You can also see me if you need additional help. Grades. Your grades are weighted according to the following categories. Tests and quizzes equal 50% of a marking period grade. A test is worth 2 quizzes. 20% is homework and classwork. This means meeting deadlines, handing in assignments. That's either for participation credit. Either you complete it or you don't. 10% will be your vocabulary. 20% will be essays and other open-ended projects. Okay, units and assignments. The literature we will cover in the first unit, these are modern short stories. Your major essay will be a literary analysis essay. Okay, so you'll be quoting just from your choice of the short stories. In the second marking period, you will be reading novels. The CP level will be reading Lord of the Flies. The honors level will be reading The Picture of Dorian Gray and some selections from the novel Dubliners. The advanced placement class will be reading all of Dubliners and the novel As I Lay Dying. For marking periods 2, you will be conducting a reader's response research essay. More on that later. You will also be completing a slideshow project on your novel. In the second half of the year, for the third marking period, we will be covering Anglo-Saxon and medieval poetry and fiction. The advanced placement class will be also completing an extended poetry unit and working on test prep for the AP Lit exam. We will be, in the second half of the year, doing some creative writing in groups. You'll either write an exemplum, a tale of romance, or a ballad, and that's all in connection to the genres from the Anglo-Saxon and medieval period. In the last part of the year, we will be doing Shakespeare and drama. The CP level will be reading Macbeth. The honors and AP level will be reading Hamlet. And then we will finish out the year with detective fiction with Agatha Christie and Sherlock Holmes. Class format. We will utilize discussion, lecture, and small group format throughout the year. Small groups may be conducted in person or virtually, depending on the situation. When we read together, we will use the computers for text and audio, also possibly the hard textbook, the old copy of the textbooks in class, stopping to review and discuss. You may also be assigned readings to complete on your own at home. Class participation is mandatory and will be formally assessed through Google Classroom. Vocab work will be conducted electronically. If you miss a quiz or a test, it will be required that you make it up the very first day possible. So vocabulary work, you will have to buy the books, is my understanding this year. I don't know if we will have the electronic book available. Either way, you're just going to be completing the usual exercises, and then you will check your answers on Google Classroom, and we will have the test as usual in class. Outstanding grades will remain at 0% at the end of the marking period. There will be no late submissions for major essays or projects without my approval ahead of the set deadline. You will make up any tests or quizzes when you return to class the first day that you return to class. So anytime you miss any assignment that is a formal assessment, count on completing it as soon as you return to school. You'll be given no extra time unless that is pre-approved by me. A final note, welcome to the class. Please feel free to contact me if you need any additional help or if you have any concerns.